Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, transforming the way people think and work so their organizations can thrive. Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Ed Kless, and with me today is Eric Partaker. Eric is a high-performance coach and helps CEOs and entrepreneurs scale up themselves and their companies while also improving their well-being. Within his approach, he draws from his time advising 5 Fortune 50 CEOs, his experience helping build up Skype's multi-billion-dollar success story, as well as behavioral science learned from Stanford University. Eric is phenomenal at helping people improve their leadership abilities, achieve work-life balance, and reach peak performance. And he has lots of strategies to offer. So welcome to the Sage Advice Podcast, Eric Partaker.
Thank you, Ed. Really excited to be here. And thank you to everyone who's listening for your time.
Well, first of all, Eric, why do you do what you do?
Great question. And sometimes this is the same very question that I'll discuss with clients as perhaps they're in a transition and they're thinking about maybe what to do next, or maybe they just want to reaffirm, and what I'm currently doing, is that the right thing for me to be doing? And I find that whatever you see at the intersection of 3 circles, if you will, ends up being a great candidate for your purpose or your calling, which can change throughout life. And certainly what I'm doing right now, which is essentially helping, as you said, entrepreneurs, CEOs, leaders, help them scale up, themselves and their companies. That sits at the center of 3 circles for me. So one is, it's something I really love doing. I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. 2, it's something that I'm skilled at. We enjoy and we want to do things that we're skilled at that allow us to utilize our talents. And having racked up a lot of repetitions doing this, you naturally become skilled at it. And then last but not least, it populates the circle of it's something that I think the world really needs, certainly as evidenced by the results and the feedbacks that I have, within my clients. The world needs more support, more help for all the entrepreneurs, CEOs, and leaders out there. So it sits at the intersection of love, skill, and need. And again, anybody listening, I would encourage you to do the same exercise. Maybe list out all your potential ideas or callings, current role, potential future roles, and score them on a 1 to 10 basis in each of those categories. To what degree is it something you really love doing? To what degree does it allow you to utilize your talents, your skills? And to what degree do you think the world really needs it?
An interesting variation on the hedgehog principle there. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. It is absolutely a variation on that. Yes, indeed.
So before we started recording, you mentioned something that you've developed a little day scoring system for yourself. I wonder if you wouldn't share with our listeners that system.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, credit where credit is due. I read this in a book called Elite Minds. And there's a section in the book where the author talks about that perfect, of course, is not the goal, right? Perfect is not attainable. It's impossible. So then the question the question that's begged is, well, then what is the goal? And the goal is to simply do our best. And so each and every day I make it my intention to do the very best I can with what I have in that day. And if I did the best that I could at the end of the day, I write a W onto the wall calendar. And if I didn't do my best, the author in Elite Minds, he suggests writing, an L for lose. Now, for me, that L is for learn, and I might write within the calendar box, what did I learn today? What prevented me from doing my best? Or how did I prevent myself? And then it becomes a game, because the idea is no more than 6 L's in a month, so about an 80% success rate with winning days. And then the thing that I've added is never 2 L's in a row. So if you have a bad day, that's fine. Just make sure that the next day ends up being a rebound day. So the beauty of this is that in any given day, we'll have tons of stuff that gets potentially thrown our way, and our structure, our routines, everything may very well go out the window. And when that happens, it's easy for us to beat ourselves up and to think that we haven't achieved that we haven't, done our best. When actually, all we can ever do is the best we can, right, in the context of what's presented to us. And if you just focus on that, yes, but did you do your best in the context of the day, no matter what happened? Then that's good enough. And then the idea is just string together as many W's as possible. So that works brilliantly for me, and would really, encourage anyone listening to give that a try as well.
I like that. The one thing that I might add is that, if the L does stand for learn, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. And the notion of 2 in a row might be appropriate in certain circumstances, especially if you are in fact learning something.
100%. And the other layer that you can put into this is in the book that I've just written, The 3 Alarms, I talk about bringing intentionality into 3 key segments of your day, or 3 life areas. And they are your health, your wealth, or your work as a wealth driver, and your relationships. And if you think about each of those 3 areas, and then think, what does the superhero version of you look like in those areas? And then give it a name. And then you use that as a guiding, post for your evaluation each day. So for example, for me, on the health front, I think of myself as not me going to the gym, but it's a world fitness champion. That's the version of me who shows up, even though I'm not a world fitness champion. And then for work, I think of myself as world's best, coach. That's who's showing up for work. How does that version of me act and behave? And then last but not least, when it's time for me to walk through the door at home, I show up as world's best husband and father, because I want to challenge myself to think through, well, how would, if I was acting as a world's best husband and father, how would that version of me act and behave? So bringing that intentionality into those three arenas can really help as well. And I've set those as 3 alarms, hence the title of my book, on my phone. So at 6:30 a.m., first alarm goes off. It says World Fitness Champion. 9 a.m., second alarm goes off, says World's Best CEO. And 6:30 p.m., third alarm, World's Best Husband and Father. Just to prompt the question, how would the world's best husband and father walk through that door right now?
And an offer is going to be in the description of our podcast today. So if you go down to the description, you'll get an offer where you can click on a link for a free digital book and some training programs that Eric has to offer. Eric, we have an exit question that we ask all of our guests, and that is, who is a hero of yours and why are they a hero?
Yeah, I have lots of heroes. If I were to be completely honest, it's not just one. One of my heroes would definitely be my late grandfather. I remember him saying when he was alive that the strongest currency in the world wasn't anything fiscal, that the strongest currency in the world was trust. And so I've really taken that on board my whole life. It's something that I pride myself in my client relationships. The degree to which you have trust is an incredibly strong currency, and it allows a group of people, or simply just 2 people, to move all the more quickly, on whatever development path or growth path that you're on.
And lastly, Eric, how can somebody contact you?
Just head over to my website at Eric with a C, E-R-I-C, Partaker, P-A-R-T-A-K-E-R, ericpartaker.com. You'll see multiple ways in which you can get in touch there. And probably most importantly, as you mentioned earlier, if you want to pick up a free digital copy of my new book, The 3 Alarms, which is just ranked as an Amazon bestseller, you can grab a copy there, as well as some other free training programs, as mentioned, that relate to the content in the book.
Eric Partaker, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sage Advice Podcast.
Thanks a lot, Ed, and thanks everyone who's listening.
Review and subscribe by searching your podcast player of choice for Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.